Today, we dive into some spine-chilling gas station horror stories that will make you think twice before stopping for a late-night fill-up. These are real-life accounts that show just how terrifying a simple trip to the gas station can be. Our first story comes from a gas station attendant working the graveyard shift. It was a quiet night, and the clerk was the only person in the store. Around 2 a.m., a car pulled up. A man stepped out, dressed in a dark hoodie with the hood pulled low over his face. He wandered around the store aimlessly before finally approaching the counter. He didn't buy anything, but kept asking strange questions, making the clerk uneasy. The man finally left, only to return multiple times throughout the night, each time asking more unsettling questions and making vague, threatening comments. The clerk decided to call the police. When they arrived, the man had disappeared. They later discovered his car abandoned nearby and found out he was a wanted criminal with a history of violent offenses. The clerk's quick thinking may have saved his life. Our next story involves a long-haul trucker who stopped at a remote gas station late at night. As he was filling up, he noticed an old beat-up car at one of the pumps. The strange thing was, there was no one inside. He didn't think much of it until he went inside to pay. The cashier mentioned that the car had been there for hours and no one had seen the driver. Feeling uneasy, the trucker finished his business and drove off. But as he glanced in his rearview mirror, he saw the old car's headlights suddenly turn on and start following him. For miles, the car stayed right on his tail, no matter how fast he drove. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, it vanished. The trucker later learned that there had been a fatal accident involving a car matching that description on that very stretch of road years earlier. This next story is about a couple driving through the countryside late at night. Running low on gas, they stopped at a small, isolated gas station. The place seemed deserted, but the lights were on. They honked, and eventually, an old man came out to pump their gas. He was polite, but seemed a bit off. After filling their tank, he mentioned that they should be careful on the road ahead. When they went to pay, the man in the station had completely vanished. Confused and scared, they drove on, only to learn from locals that the station had been abandoned for years, and the old man was the former owner who had died in an accident on that very road. Gas stations, often a beacon of safety and convenience, can also be the setting for some of the most unsettling and unexplained events. Whether it's a mysterious stranger, a phantom vehicle, or a disappearing attendant, these stories remind us that sometimes the scariest things happen